Tesla is almost like a 7 times bigger than Toyota because of personal brand,
Of
because
one person's personal brand. That's incredible.
exactly. Consumers are willing to pay more not to consume ads. Marketing is all about human, but nowadays marketers are focused on algorithms, automation, AI, and they forget human connection. Consistent action creates consistent results. I think it's all about starting small, building gradually, thinking long term, to communicate your audience, build emotional connection.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Tech Leaders Playbook. Today we have a powerhouse in digital transformation and AI, Vladimer Botsvadze. Hopefully I said that right. He is recognized as the #1 global marketing thought leader by Thinkers 360 and a top AI speaker worldwide. Vladimir advises Fortune 500 companies and startups in navigating the future of digital strategy. He's trusted voice in marketing, AI, and personal branding with insights featured in Forbes, Bloomberg, and Wired. Vladimir, thank you so much for being here. Welcome. I know we spoke about a month ago, but I'm excited to dive in deeper to all the topics we discussed.
Hi, Avetis. It is a delight to be a guest on your podcast. Many thanks for the invitation. And I would love to share my actionable insights with your audience today. And you do a remarkable job, my friend.
Thank you so much, brother.
Kudos to you.
Let's talk about the evolution of digital marketing and AI in your world and why you're so interested and why are you so involved in this world?
It is a great question. First of all, United States has been instrumental in my journey because I moved to the United States from Georgia to the US when I was 18. So I started seeing the world faster, easier, clearer. And of course, when you live in New York City at the age of 19 and nobody knows you, you understand the importance of personal branding in New York City. So I spent so much time at New York City Public Library. I was rubbing shoulders with successful people. I was pushing self-education. And so I have become a lifelong learner in 2006 in New York, and since then I have had exponential growth in my career. But when I look at my digital marketing ecosystem in the last 20 years, the power has shifted dramatically from Wall Street, Madison Avenue, big corporations, advertising agencies, to human beings. Now everyone has a voice, everyone has a reaction. Social media is a two-way communication, whereas traditional marketing is a one-way communication. And since 2000, 62% of Fortune 500 brands have disappeared from the list. Because why? They did not adapt to the reality of the marketplace. When I was working in Menezes, Virginia, 25 minutes drive from Washington, D.C., I used to see a Blockbuster store in my neighborhood, so it was still popular to rent DVDs to watch films. But consumer behavior has changed, and smart people who made billions of dollars at Blockbusters, they sat in the board, they discussed it, they did not buy Netflix for $50 million, they ignored consumers, they neglected the fourth industrial revolution, they totally invested their money in backward-looking advertising, they lost market share, and they went out of business. And as the 62% businesses disappear since 2000, it means that they treat social media like they treat traditional marketing channels. They think that social media is a one-way communication, but it's a two-way communication. And nowadays, power is in personal branding because trust in businesses, brands, and advertising has declined 15 years in a row. And literally, two-thirds of marketing is happening without brands. So customer tell stories. What Jeff Bezos says it, right? Brand is what people say about you when you are not in the room. So customers, word of mouth marketing is of paramount importance. Nowadays, I would say that as social media connected consumers together, I think businesses are built on small town rules. Avetis.
Just to prove your point, when a company posts a topic, a conversation, like for example, HireCloud has almost 90,000 followers, but when HireCloud, my company, posts something, it gets a decent amount of attention, but a fractional of what I would get as a person, for example, with only 16,000 followers. That's really interesting, right? To prove your point, people are listening and reading and engaging with people, not companies. That's kind of what you're getting to. Vlad, why do we care? Why is personal branding, if we can slow down a little bit and actually talk about the specifics, like who cares about personal branding, right? It's something, personal branding to me and us old school people have come through just organic means, right? Like you work your butt off, you say what you're going to do, you do what you say, you do a great job, and that carries over, and that's personal branding. But now we're talking about marketing. Tell me why people should even care about their personal brand.
Avetis, thank you for this great question. I think a personal brand has become a company brand, Avetis, in 2025 because Elon Musk personal brand is a company brand, and just imagine that Elon built Tesla without an advertising department, and Tesla spent $0 in the last 15 years per car on advertising, whereas
Wow.
Mercedes-Benz spends like a $945 per car on advertising. And according to Visual Capitalist, as of December 2024, Tesla's market capitalization is $1.4 trillion, whereas Toyota stands at $231 billion, and Mercedes-Benz stands at $63 billion. Just imagine that Tesla is almost like a 7 times bigger than Toyota because of personal brand,
Of
because
one person's personal brand. That's incredible.
exactly. And Elon Musk's approach to marketing revolutionized the industry, not only automotive industry, also entire market in different sectors as well. So, as for example, Brian Chesky of Airbnb directly communicates with Airbnb's users through X Twitter. He has built communities through Twitter in the last 15 years, and he disrupted biggest hospitality brands. And also Daniel Ek, who is a co-founder of Spotify, he has huge community on X Twitter, so he has always improved Spotify's products through listening, communicating. So Avetis, real-time product development is very important, real time. So you need to be able to improve, to communicate, to interact with your consumers in real time. So you need to put a human face on your business because nobody sees, believes, and trusts those ads because advertising steals our time. And just imagine that we are in the streaming economy. We watch Netflix, we watch no ads. Amazon Prime, no ads. Spotify, no ads. Then Disney Plus, no ads. Podcast, no ads. And audiobooks, no ads. And even just imagine that if Netflix starts showing ads, Netflix will lose 23% of its subscribers. Just imagine that consumers are willing to pay more not to consume ads, So nowadays brands need to respect consumers' time. You know that companies intercept them, they interrupt them, they robocall them, they spam them. So companies nowadays totally disrespect consumers. It is unacceptable what is happening nowadays in marketing space. But what Professor Philip Kotler said, right? Because marketing is a combination of sociology, psychology, and anthropology. Marketing is all about human. But nowadays, marketers are focused on algorithms, automation, AI, and they forget human connection,
Wow, that's huge. So let's talk about that. How has AI redefined marketing strategies for both startups, small companies, and huge Fortune 500 companies? What's AI shifted in the marketplace?
AI, I think it is a most revolutionary technology. Just imagine, Avetis, what is happening nowadays, For example, when I was speaking at global event last year, when I asked like 300 people how many people were using generative AI, only 5 people raised their hands. It is unacceptable what is happening, but I think more and more people show more interest in using and utilizing generative AI for marketing purposes. Just imagine the ChatGPT user base has grown to 400 million weekly users, and 92% of Fortune 500 companies leverage OpenAI's products. For example, Coca-Cola, Shopify, Snapchat, and PricewaterhouseCoopers use OpenAI's products, and ChatGPT 4, for example, can generate up to 25,000 words, which is remarkable. Nowadays, business owners use ChatGPT for summarizing content like 53%, email communication 40%, fixing coding errors, and website content writing 30%. Avetis 30%.
Yes.
And as I mentioned that ChatGPT is the most revolutionary technology. ChatGPT got 1 million users in 5 days, whereas it took Instagram 2.5 months, Spotify 5 months, Dropbox 7 months, YouTube 18 months, LinkedIn 2 years, and Netflix 3.5 years. So ChatGPT monthly 3.1 billion website visitors, and it is available in 156 countries. How it is, and ChatGPT's mobile app surpassed 110 million downloads. So 32% of Americans are concerned about AI potentially eliminating certain jobs.
Let's talk about that. What's your suggestion? So our topic here is building personal brand.
Yes.
We know the power of AI. We know a lot of this data. So how should we, if we slow down a little bit and talk a little bit about how we can leverage AI without losing the human element? Because that's another problem, right? Now everybody's an expert and everybody could just prompt ChatGPT to write their articles, but they're not good. Most of these articles aren't good. So what do we do as personal people that care about a personal brand, that want to be like Musk, right? How do we utilize AI without losing our authenticity?
I think emotional intelligence is our advantage, and IQ is declining value because of technology, Avetis. So emotional intelligence is our advantage. Building emotional connection is our sustainable competitive advantage in the age of AI. Whether I build a personal brand or they are Elon Musk and they build like a trillion dollar company, because nowadays Tesla is an AI company plus Elon Musk personal brand, it is total domination. But I think human content wins nowadays. Avetis, human content. For example, a great example is my personal brand. Because when I built my community on Twitter from 2014 to 2022, I have gone from 0 followers to 57,000 followers organically. So my cloud score, for example, was 58 in 2014. So it reached 80 in 2018 because I was consistent, because I was creating content. So consistent action creates consistent results. I think it's all about starting small, building gradually, thinking long term, to communicate your audience, build emotional connection. You know what Sam Altman, OpenAI CEO, said that 90 marketers will be replaced by generative AI by 95%. Avetis, and 5% is probably personal brand. So we need to care about this 5% to show our heart, to show our smile, and to show our personality, because the vast 90% of content that is put out nowadays, it has no personality.
So what you're saying is even if you're using AI, you have to balance that with your personality. You can't just develop boring automated content and expect good coverage. Let me ask you a question. How do businesses strike the right balance between automation and AI and maintaining that human touch in marketing? I guess you mentioned it. It's giving your personality, but tell us more. What specifically does that mean? How do we give it that flavor?
The most common tasks performed with the help of ChatGPT, for example, writing code 66%, copywriting, content creation 58%, then customer support 57%, then research 45%, and generate task list 45%. Just imagine that nowadays vast majority, 77% of marketers use ChatGPT in 2025, So as I mentioned that not using generative AI tools, for example, ChatGPT is a big mistake, More than 57% of entrepreneurs believe that ChatGPT will boost their traffic to their website, for example. And I think communication dictates everything that is going on in this world. Avetis, communication. If brands don't communicate with their consumers in real time, they will be left behind. Ultimately, market decides what is good and bad. So market decided that Spotify, Uber, Airbnb, and the rest of startups are good because they solve consumers' problems. They were agile, open-minded, So I'm a mentor at Techstars Detroit, powered by JP Morgan. The first tip that I share with my mentees is that they need to build their personal brands. They need to build communities. They need to bring consumers together. For example, the cosmetic brand Glossier, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so co-founder Emily Weiss built $1 billion cosmetic brand through blogging because she was treating blog readers as friends. She built community. Her marketing team was interviewing the biggest fans for their website. And if you check out Glossier's website, on the homepage, they show the biggest fans. That is how innovative brands care about their consumers, because you need to put your customers first, your biggest fans first, in order to become dominant, to be consumer-centric. So I started my whole journey as a side hustle, Avetis, in 2014. So I was tweeting from 7 p.m. to 2 a.m., I witnessed that they have gone from $0 to $10 billion, $20 billion because of they built their personal brands, because they communicate with their audience. They build trust. So I have earned trust. So my example is that human content wins. For example, nowadays when you Google digital marketing keynote speaker, my website, VladimirBotsvadze.com, is ranked number 1 because I have never used ChatGPT for my own website, because the content that you read on my homepage, on a speaking page, is human 100%. Honest to God, I never used ChatGPT for my website, but that's why I built and trust. So when I earn someone's trust in magazines or at conferences, I'm also earning Google's trust. So it is very important to earn trust of your clients,
Vlad, for every Musk and the other people you mentioned, there's a million other people who don't seem to create enough of a following for it to matter. So I guess the question is, what suggestions do you have for them? Because yes, it's easy to use these huge examples of these trillion-dollar brands and these billion-dollar personalities, but behind that, there's a million different people that they don't realize what it takes to even get from 0 to 1. So what do you say to them? Like, what are the first 2 or 3 steps they need to do?
Feedback loop is important. Feedback loop. So Elon Musk directly communicates with Tesla's owners. When someone asks questions, he directly. Do you remember anybody from Ford Motor Company who their executives directly communicate and answer consumers' problems or questions? I don't remember anybody, because they continue to depend on backward-looking advertising. So advertising is going away. Ad consumption is down by 90%, and it's all about building direct communication with consumers. As I mentioned, that Spotify, Airbnb, Tesla, these open-minded entrepreneurs, co-founders directly communicate with consumers. It's all about being transparent, showing your product updates, and to improve product in real time. So there are 8.2 billion people in the world and 5.2 billion social media users, and the question nowadays is how do you stand out in this noisy digital marketplace, because it is getting harder to rise above the noise.
Yes, of course. And that's the problem. That's the biggest problem with marketing right now is there's so much noise. AI has made it so easy for people to create content that the content isn't good anymore. That's the biggest problem, right? Before something got published, it had to be good. Right now, it doesn't have to be good. And there's a lot of crap out there. What do you say to that? I mean,
yes, I'm a judge. Even I'm a judge for the Webby Awards, and I judge like a top most influential podcast in the United States. So I can see from my first-hand experience what brands are creating nowadays in the United States, I reach incredible heights from building my personal brand, Avetis. I'm a mentor at Techstars, judge for the Webby Awards, mentor at UCLA Anderson Venture Accelerator. I have been ranked number 1 in the world. So I can see that it's all about being transparent. It's all about capitalizing on social media channels to tell your story. So business is simple. It's all about supply, demand, attention, and storytelling,
That I agree with. I tell people this once in a while, Vlad. Like when I did a program at Stanford, and I was so excited about all of these courses. And the class I was most least excited about was storytelling. I was actually upset. I was frustrated, and I was thinking, this what a waste of time and money. I mean, I'm spending all this money to go to Stanford to learn storytelling. I ended up getting the most out of the storytelling class, which was hilarious because the other classes were analytics and just stuff that was so about my business that I was very excited, and I left loving the storytelling concept. I mean, it was great because you're right. Nobody cares about data and information. It's the story that they care about. Vlad, let me ask you a question. So you advise and mentor startups, UCLA and Techstars and so on and so forth. What's the most common mistake early stage startups make when approaching digital marketing? Like, what do you think that they're doing wrong?
It's all about Avetis. I will be honest, and it's all about positioning your startup as a media company.
Okay, tell me more.
And you need to become the greatest publisher of information, because nowadays consumers expect to be entertained, to be informed, to be enlightened, and not to be bombarded by ads all the time. So it's all about building brand in the long term. So you need to have long-term marathon thinking. Long-term
Yes.
marathon thinking.
Yes.
So I was thinking long-term. I was creating content. I have shown patience. I reinvested my last dollar into my website, was showing gratitude to my followers every time they retweeted me, they liked my tweets, they left comments on my tweets. I was very interactive. So I built community. We were exploring the future of marketing together. So in community, it is a big difference between audience and community. In a community, people know each other. I brought my followers together. They made friendships that boosted my personal brand. But in audience, if I have a blog and if they read my blog post, they don't know each other. But in community on Twitter, as I have over 51,000 authentic followers, they do know each other. It is remarkable that nowadays my LinkedIn is one of the most competitive profiles in the world, like 65 global experiences, 41 LinkedIn recommendations, like more than 200 global awards, because I built my LinkedIn based on my Twitter performance, because I entrust. So LinkedIn is very competitive. Twitter X is more vice versa. It is like a cocktail party. So you need to mix. You need to mix with people. You need to bring them together. You need to be friendly. You need to help them. You need to be generous. So
Yes.
you need to give away your best advice for free. So this generosity has built my personal brand.
Vlad, you mentioned something about good content. You're absolutely right? Like, a lot of times the way that people think they're giving good content is they give you one piece of content, and then there's a CTA, and then they're on your ass to sell you the product or service if you, God forbid, you clicked on a link, right? I want to give a shout out to a really cool organization I don't use yet, but I plan on using. It's called CEO International. These guys are one of the very few companies in the world where they deliver good content to my mailbox. I actually read about 40-50% of their stuff. I have not joined them. I've never spoken to them. All they do is send great content, and then they have these amazing webinar type of stuff where they'll do cheese and wine day, and you get to drink bourbon or wine and eat cheese and connect with other folks. Brilliant. They sent me this beautiful gift box with my name on it, with valuable stuff, 2 books, tea, so on and so forth. Those are the people I remember. I'm never going to forget those guys. And if I ever need a coach, they're the first and only ones I will go to. Now, it might take them 3 years to get there, but just imagine the level of influence they're creating versus other folks who are just trying to sell, right? You can't disguise your sales technique for great content, because if you're providing great content, send great content, and just think one day, hopefully, you will connect with these folks, but don't expect an immediate result. I think that's a big mistake too. Would you agree?
Yes, it is very important, Avetis, to provide value to your audience,
Yes.
So as you provide value, you start winning in the long term. So how you are supposed to provide value? So creating great content, because you position your brand as a media company, you provide value, you have one of the most sought after podcasts, you have great guests that builds your personal brand. You are going to put yourself in the best position to succeed in the long term. It is remarkable. It's remarkable. So I think content creation is everything nowadays, because there are 5 million podcasts, 70 million episodes. more than 100 million Americans listen to podcasts, so this market is evaluated is a ballpark of $23 billion, and podcast market will reach $100 billion by 2030. Just imagine that you are ahead of the game, my friend.
I'm glad to hear that. Any big upcoming projects or speaking engagements you're very excited about, Vlad, like that you're going to be doing?
Yeah, I'm currently invited to speak at some events in throughout Europe. If you look at what I have achieved the last 5 years, it's remarkable, because in 2020 I was ranked #1 global marketing thought leader. In 2021 I was invited to the judging panel of the Digital Revolution Awards in the UK, judge nominations as an outstanding contribution to the Microsoft ecosystem. I spoke at the award ceremony of the Digital Revolution Awards. In 2022 I was invited as a speaker to the Global Marketing Summit alongside Professor Philip Kotler, and I received the certificate of appreciation from the event organizer. I joined more than 35 speakers bureaus, and I'm amongst the world's top 21 artificial intelligence speakers in 2025 by AI Speakers Agency, sharing the spotlight with OpenAI CEO Sam Altman. And literally, Avetis, if you Google top AI speakers, Google provides 2021 top AI speakers, and I'm listed alongside 21 AI speakers because I build authority. It is remarkable that you can build your authority by being authentic, by providing value, giving away your best advice for free, being generous, and this generosity as I built has been instrumental in my journey, and brick by brick with patience, passion, long-term thinking, storytelling, and curiosity, and active listening. It is active listening, because I actively listen to my audience. Before I start speaking at global events, I engage with my audience, online, offline. I respond. I want everyone to be heard and not to disregard someone's question, So I think I have sent more than 130,000 tweets, so I was very interactive. Nowadays, personal brand building is free across social media channels. I'm not asking my clients to run ads, which is very expensive, but content distribution across various social media channels is free. It is remarkable what you can achieve through being curious, being proactive,
proactive. Vlad, where can people find you? Where do listeners find you for your insights?
I think people can check out my website at vladimerbotsvadze.com. Also, they can connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm also on Twitter, X, Vlado Botsvadze, and also on Instagram at Vladimer Botsvadze. So let's connect and let's build something great in the future,
Amazing. Vlad, you're so busy. You got me tired, to be honest with you, but you also energized me. Thank you so much for being a guest. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of interesting wisdom about personal branding and how people buy from people. People connect with people and not businesses. So great advice. Thank you so much for being here, Vlad.
Thank you so much, Avetis, and I wish you all the best.
And that brings us to the end of another great episode of the Tech Leaders Playbook. I want to thank you for joining us and hope you took away some valuable insights to apply in your professional journey. Don't forget to subscribe on your preferred podcast platform so you don't miss out on the next great conversation. I promise it'll be good. If you enjoyed today's episode, we'd appreciate if you could leave us a review. Your feedback not only helps us improve, but also help others discover the podcast. Better leaders mean better working environments. Better working environments leads to happier people. Remember, a rising tide lifts all boats. I'm Avetis Antaplyan, and this has been the Tech Leaders Playbook. Keep leading, keep learning, keep giving, and I'll see you on the next one. Until then, stay inspired, my friends.